see. It says it's on, but I don't believe it. We got to share this out. Discord. Actually, let's copy link. And... all right, it says it's reconnecting. And it looks like there's 3 of you in here, or no, 1 of you in here. The light is really, really bad. I don't know what is going on with this. It's really hard to see anything at all. Rose, looks like it's you are first. Catitude, you are number 2. Let's see who the turd is. Who's going to be the turd? Make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button so that I know that you're here, so the algorithms cannot lose. S&B Adventures. Haven't seen you in a while. You are deterred. Deterred. I've got 36 minutes to relay this information to you guys. Bradley says he made it. I'm going to give it a minute to fill up the chat, I guess, or fill up the room. Let's see here. You need shades. Oh, I got shades. I got shades. Yeah, for like the front. It's just because of where I parked, and there's a white building in front of me, and that light is coming down directly from the east, banging off that building and coming right at me. It's almost like getting snow blindness kind of thing. Got West Virginia Pappy. Deanna's here. Let's see here. Lazy showed up. Rose, bingo. There we go. Good stuff, guys. We're gonna give it a few more seconds for things to for the people to show up and say hi. I'm gonna drink some. Rose, look what I found. I found this in my seat. 1 root beer barrel. I'm saving this for a special occasion. Looks like Ian showed up. Ian, your package has not left the house yet. I've had a problem getting to the damn post office. I keep telling myself I'm going to send this thing out, but getting to the post office is not as easy as it looks. But it's going out today because I have packages coming in, so it's forcing me to go do this, which is a good thing. It's a good thing. All right, let's see here. We got, looks like we got 10 people in here. And only 5 thumbs up. What is going on with that? Like loyal followers in here today, 10 of you, and only 5 thumbs up. That's some slacking stuff. That's some slacking stuff. All right, so today what I wanted to talk about was something that is kind of like it's not in the news anymore. It's kind of forgotten, but it's still there. It's still real, okay? And what I want to explore is basically the persistent hardships that are faced by the residents of Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee following Hurricane Helene's devastating sweep back in September. September, guys. Scorpion Metals, good to see you, bro. And what I want to do is like extract some of the survival lessons that we're seeing in the aftermath of that situation. Now, before we get into it, guys, you should know there's still stuff going on up there, and we're not talking about the government completely failing. We're not talking about raiders and people stealing or looting. We're not talking about that. There's a serious problem up there, okay? And that is that when that flood came through there and moved all of those trees around and created all these giant timber piles, and there's just wood, trees, fallen trees that are sitting up in those hills that are just getting ripe for the summer lightning storms. Now, yeah, Rose is exactly. Now, there are already some fires up in that region. And you can actually Google, if you Google like North Carolina fire map, it'll tell you where all the fires are. It won't really tell you. It like just puts dots. It won't tell you how big they are, and there's no like swaths. And I know there's some apps that show you that like the swathed area. But here's what I'm telling you, guys. It's going to start having a very significant. It's going to become a very significant problem for the people who live in those areas. Not just the people who got all their stuff wiped out that are living in tents, but the people that nothing happened to, and now all their stuff might burn down, and it's probably going to turn into national news very shortly. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is because I want people to be safe. Okay, it has nothing to do with what we're going to talk about, but I want people to be safe, especially if they're watching this or they're listening to it later on the replay, because it's a serious, serious problem. We do have one of our, if you guys know Jester Doom, he's one of my buddies. He works in the in basically fire and rescue for that particular region, and I talk to him every so often, and he's like, man, there's a problem. And here's the funny part. It's not funny and haha funny, but it's funny as in like, oh, by the way, if you guys plan on going to prep stock this year or prepper camp this year down there in Saluda, North Carolina, that place may not exist anymore. It may not exist. There's currently 2 fires that are extremely close to it. So it may not exist anymore. And getting that built back, I don't know how long it would take. It could take years, everything, because I don't know. I'm just telling you. If you've got tickets for prepper camp, I would be paying very close attention to the situation in southwestern North Carolina. So, what do we got here? And let's see here. Scorpion Meds needs to be some cleanup. Give to people that burn wood. I mean, it could be anything. It could really be anything, but something needs to happen. Now, getting back on point, because I actually have 30 minutes and 42 seconds to relay as much information as possible to you. It's funny. YouTube said I had 30 people in here a split second ago. Now it says 19. I don't know who's lying these days. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. So, I want to zero in on 5 key areas. Also, there's another video that I'm working on right now. No tickets this year, just a get together. That's interesting. I'm not sure why they would be doing that already. I wonder if old Rick is getting tired of doing this, because it's work. It's work. Anyway, like I said, I have a video that's going to be coming out. I want to say I'm going to try and make it drop today, but I still have a lot of work to do on it, and I'm kind of busy as well. So we'll see what happens. And it's basically on 6 mistakes that preppers make for emergency preparedness. And it's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit different theme that I am, but it's going to be different. So you guys have to watch it. Let me know what you think about it. So West Virginia Preppy saying prep stock. No, I know that. I know about prep stock. That is just a gathering. But I'm talking about prepper camp, that happens in Saluda. Okay, so zeroing in on the 5 key areas, which are shelter, water, and sanitation, power, communications, and food. We want to draw from the experiences of those during this widespread ruin of Western North Carolina and Tennessee. Helene's fury kind of obliterated entire towns. It severed power for thousands. It left roads unusable. It exposed the stark boundaries of preparation when a disaster strikes with such force. It stresses that when homes and supplies were swept away, no amount of stockpiling can fully cushion the blow. Placing skills at the forefront of survival. All right. Now, obviously, the first one is going to be building shelters, and we take this for granted. But for, building a shelter from whatever's available, for example, becomes an essential, a skill that is only honed through practice. And it's not reliant on guidebooks lost in the chaos. They got washed downstream, and hopefully you've practiced making shelters as the books you bought on the subject have likely washed away. We take building shelters for granted. I take building shelters for granted. I know how to do it. I've done it many times, but it's not something I go out and practice. And I'm not saying that you should practice. Like, hey, let's go build a shelter every weekend. Let's do that on a Saturday. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is that you should know how to do it, and then you'd be able to use this practiced knowledge, this practiced skill to benefit from that in an emergency. Okay. Let's see here. Rose says, Saluda, beautiful area for all except physically challenged can easily see how fire can rush an area. Oh yeah, exactly. Let's see here. JB says the girlfriend and I were talking about fire risk here today. I believe it, man. I believe it. 100%. I believe it. But getting back on point, it's building those shelters. You should know how to do that. And I mean, you should have a plan because, it could be bad. It could be bad. Look at your situation and understand that you may need to do something. I mean, in the worst case scenario, you may need to build some kind of shelter just for people that are looking for shelter. You may have to do that, Let's see here. Know how to do repairs if housing is damaged. Exactly. That's part of it. That's part of it. Water is the next one. And you guys know that I'm really big on the water, food, and security in that order, water. But water stands out as one of the biggest pressing issues. With the region's sources tainted beyond fixes, that's for sure. The suggested multi-step purification of they were telling people to filter it, boil it, and then treat it with tablets. It offers a practical tack, for some tougher water. But you have to pay attention to the fact that some of that water was completely tainted and made toxic and unfilterable. You really would be pushing the bounds of a reverse osmosis machine with some of that water. Now, this should be driving home the need for a hefty stored water reserves that I talk about a lot, and it should far exceed a few days of supply. Your family might require hundreds of gallons, for a drawn out ordeal. You just don't know what's going to happen, and that's only assuming that your storage actually survives, and then you talk about sanitation, that's going to add another layer of difficulty, with outdoor toilets and hygiene wipes as sensible fixes. But the thing is that toxic mud blanketed the area. And, it kind of hints at, an unaddressed needs like protective gears or gear, gloves, boots, to guard against hazardous contact. It's pretty crazy but not only that I have a problem with a lack of drinkable water, but the water in their area as well as the ground in their area is toxic. So it's pretty interesting. Got stored water, spring, stream, and lake nearby. That's great, man. But a lot of that water got contaminated. Rose says, but how far spread was the water contamination? Was it published? No. They're not about to publish that. They're not about to publish anything that says, hey, look, we drew this map and everything in this map, all the water in it's completely contaminated. Don't drink any water from this area. Only drink bottled water. Don't grow anything either. Don't water your plants. Don't do anything. It's basically a dead zone from what I understand. But people are, I don't know, man. I don't know. They're kind of stuck there. They're kind of stuck there. Let's see here. Jimbowski, don't recognize you. Welcome to the channel. It feels like we are surrounded by chemicals. Even the air doesn't feel the same where I'm. That sucks. That super sucks, man. I'm sorry to hear that. All right. So the next thing is power outages. Now, lingering a month on, kind of like you need to spotlight the merit of, the modest sustainable energy options. Solar generators, kind of like Oops or a Jackery, they kind of earned high praise for powering the basic essentials, phones, lights, radios, without fuel reliance that kind of falters when supplies dry up, as they have here. Pairing solar with battery backups proves a smart move for remote spots facing outages up to a year. Ensuring a steady trickle of power for critical needs over time. What a lot of people are doing is they're kind of moving towards solar. A lot of people are donating solar systems and setting them up, and so that these people that are stuck without power because they can't get any power up there, they'll have something, you know what I'm saying? Uh, so an Aaron Brockovich scenario. Yeah, a lot of people don't even know what an Aaron Brockovich scenario is, but basically, yeah. Yeah. You know, I'm sure the groundwater's not going to be able to light. You know what I'm saying? But there's that. And the other problem is, I hate to say it, but the radiation. There was a nuclear storage dump up north of all that no one is talking about because they just don't want to. They don't want to really get in any trouble. But that place was underwater. That place was underwater. I know people that saw that place. It was underwater. So whenever they're saying that we just had a couple of freaking sheds get destroyed and some training gear get float away, no, that place was underwater. Let's see here. Communications, guys. I'm sorry, or should I say communications or their absence, shape the crisis isolation. The grassroots, there's a project called Project Helene. It was a ham radio network, shows how local ingenuity steps in when cell and internet services collapse, delivering updates and linking stranded families. Setting up ham radio demands more than gear. It calls for licensing and practice, a commitment hinted at, but not detailed. And you've got the Starlink satellite internet that was aided by donating terminals. It kind of offers a modern fix. It's reliable with power and clean sky and clear skies. It's kind of shining in that region because it reconnected severed conventional networks. What's up? Not a sponsor. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. I can see the chat is not moving very fast, guys. Hint, hint. The game plan is I talk about stuff, you write about stuff, I talk about stuff, and you're not putting out. So get with it. Get with it. All right. Let's see. And communications, guys. You guys know that I'm not big into ham licenses, but I think that it's good that you have a ham radio. It doesn't require a lot of work to set one up. They don't use a huge amount of power. And if you know your timing sequences, you can literally top of the hour, bottom of the hour, that kind of thing. And you can easily use that. I'm huge with GMRS for local stuff. FRS is whatever. But, having the knowledge that there is a ham network out there that you can link into an emergency is super important because it requires almost no skill. If you've got your ham radio set up and it's got the power to reach wherever, you know what I'm saying? You literally just have to push a button, wait for that dead air space and tell them who you are and where you're located. And this is an emergency. And because I don't have any other comms and now you're legit, you're legal. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's going to come looking for you. So I would definitely put the money into having no less than a portable ham radio, especially if you lived in the mountains. You could just go up top of the mountain, use that and reach out and touch people forever, All right, let's see. We've got good morning, y'all. We got Light Raider showing up, got Catitude. Let's see here. Ian says, Billy Bond was talking about the toxic from the nuclear flood down from a month because of that. Oh yeah, most definitely. Jimbowski says, what do you think a basic ham would cost to set up? Well, it depends on what you mean by set up. You can literally just buy a Bofang UV5R, and that's a ham radio. It's that easy. And then you just need to know the frequency for the emergency, for your emergency bands, or should I say your emergency frequencies, and you need to know the frequency to the local emergency system or network that you could reach out to, because you're going to find, you're going to find hamheads all over the damn place. And I don't say that in a pejorative term right now, because a hamhead is pretty useful in emergency. During the rest of the time, they just want to pretend they're, I don't know. They're just, I don't know. I don't want to say bad things right now. But, UV5Rs are running $25 right now. You know what I'm saying? But you know, if you wanted to set up a base station, you probably you're under $500 pretty easily. Pretty easily. Need to set whatever said need to set up scheduled contact times to stay in touch with others if possible. Yes, 100%. 100%. Jabowski says, shoot, I have 5 Bofangs. Didn't realize that was the same thing. Oh, most definitely, my friend. That's why all the ham heads get so upset, because you can pop onto their frequencies, you know. The same thing with GMRS. You can pop onto those GMRS frequencies, FRS frequencies, no problem. You know, Bofangs hit a lot of the bands. I think they do everything but HF. Let's see here. I like the UV9R. They are more water resistant and better. Yes, and you know, Bofang is coming out with some newer radios. I want to say it's like the UV92 or something like that. It looks cool, but when I have basically a shelf full of UV5Rs, I've got a UV8 as well. You know, I've got a couple of MERS radios. When you've got a shelf full of them, it's like, what am I don't, and they work just fine. I don't want to be one of those guys that like buys all it's a shiny thing. You know, I don't want to be one of those guys. But if you've got nothing now, maybe that's for you. So, I like the UV9R. Okay, we said that already. All right, so we talked about communications, and I think that the next thing we should probably talk about, because we still have 15 minutes and 35 seconds. Let's see here. 21 people in the chat. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. It does help to draw people in. You know what's a good time? It's a good time. It's a good time. It's a good time. We're about halfway through this anyway. It's about right. If you love your country, put a number 1 in the chat. America, because I've got some coffee to drink. I got some smack to talk. I got some truth to spit. And I've got some information to relay, because this is an educational channel. All right, let's see here. Food focuses on canned goods, prized for toughness and no-cook ease. Survival trumps nutrition. He said Trump. The article argues with calories outweighing balance when infrastructure fails. Tuna, canned pasta, fruits, veggies, and beans provide practical fuel when campfires or propane grills add options, or when, should I say. Though fuel limits loom in a long crisis, a point subtly recognized. Now, when we say all that, what we're saying is that there was a lot of people that just didn't have these canned goods, and they were basically your typical 3-day no pantry dwellers. They've got about 3 days worth of food in their pantry, if they have a pantry, on their shelves in their kitchens, and it's not enough. It's not enough. You know, he's the best, right? Jaguar. Was that it? Jasper. There you go. Having more food, it's like, have more food, you know, but like when you don't have any food, calories don't mean anything, because you just want to eat. You know what I'm saying? When you're hungry, no one who is ever walking out of the forest or haven't eaten in like 4 or 5 days is looking at the back of a box to see what the caloric level or the nutritional value of that food was. That's not a thing. It's like no one ever said by no one, you know. They want to drink water, they want to eat food, they want to fill their belly and get rid of that pain. Now, am I telling you to ignore your calories? No, I'm not. I think that you need to have the calories. Minimum 20 to 2,500 calories per male, 18 to 2,000 calories per female. That's the calculations you should be using. But what they found out is that all these people that were living up in the mountains away from everybody else didn't have crap for food in their pantries. And so it was really, really bad, you know. The wife. Where are we at here? Yes, I'm Jasper, but we should really be talking about You know what? Someone else put that term in the chat, and I don't know what that means. It sounds trollish to me, Jasper, but I don't know what it. Jasper, if you could help everybody, please explain what that is you're talking about, the MA homes. Explain what that is in the chat. It'll be greatly appreciated. And the dependent and more vegan says, hey, vegan, what's going on, man? And more depending how active. Gotcha. Note, we should all be stocking up on pre-workout. Come on. Chef's quarterback. Jasper, you're starting to smell more and more like a troll, bro. You're not even trying. You're just using different words. It's important. Well, could you give us some more context? You're just saying, you're just words, and it's like nothing's happening. So I appreciate you, man. But I think you should give us a little bit better Patrick Mahomes. Oh, it's somebody, the Chiefs quarterback. Okay, so what's so important about this guy? I've never even heard of him before. My wife found where I'm hiding. She's like, stop listening to that crazy bastard on the internet. Get back to work. Let's see here. It's easy to find you when you talk about it at dinner. I got you. Mrs. Sponsor. Oh my God. We have Mrs. and we have not a sponsor and we have Mrs. Sponsor. That's awesome. Couples in preparedness. Let's see if I can do it right. Did I do it right? Couples in preparedness. Or no, I know I'm doing it right. I know I'm doing it right, but it doesn't look right because there's too many fingers. There's too many fingers. That's what she said. There's too many. It looks good on this side. See, it looks good. I can't spin around. Let's see here. Let's see. That's all he talks. So he talks about me at supper. Gotcha. Let's see here. Being prepared is a family thing. Love it. Love it. The 3-finger rule. What is it? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. No, yes, not this time. Anyway, let's get back on point. All right, let's see here. So we talked about food. Now, where are we at here? Vegan. Beyond these simple things, there were other challenges and other preps that emerged. Okay. Medical supplies loomed large with no pharmacies or ambulances in reach. First aid kits, prescriptions, and over-the-counter medications became vital. They needed proactive stockpiling and upkeep so they didn't run into this situation, which they kind of did, which super sucks. Another thing was mental resilience, and I talk about this from time to time because I don't really, I can't make somebody be somebody who they're not, and our lives have a huge, our life experiences have a huge effect on who we are mentally in an emergency. Excuse me. Now, isolation can and usually does erode morale. So just having routines or community links could really ease this burden. Also, community networks. The community networks that came out of the woodwork for that area during that crisis. They were hailed for their rescue efforts. It's a disaster strength that is worth building, and there are other places out there, I support Grindstone Ministries because I'm not even religious, but I support Grindstone Ministries because they're doing the job, they're doing the work. I think they're down in Florida or Mississippi now. where those storms tore through there last week and doing work. It's pretty crazy. I have been asked to go, but as you guys know, LP's girlfriend went and caught the cancer, and so I have to be here for her now. So it's one thing leads to another, some good, some bad. But neighbors would often outpace the official aid, which lagged a week despite FEMA's budget. This kind of, and it's actually sparked some debate over its role amid such logistics failures. It's been pretty crazy. A lot of people aren't talking about it anymore. And if you remember too, when they were putting the directors of FEMA, when they were when Congress was certifying these guys, basically, a lot of the questions they asked were, you're not going to dismantle FEMA. You're not going to defund FEMA. You're not going to stop doing services, right? No, we're not. We're not. But the thing is FEMA is, if you don't know what FEMA is nothing more than a brokerage to get money to people during emergencies. And they failed to do that. So it's questionable what they'll be in the future. Now, the last thing I want to talk about, because I only have 5 minutes and 52 seconds, is expanding on these ideas. Now, medical preps or medical prep goes beyond the basics. Bandages, antiseptics, painkillers, chronic meds, they need rotation, while wound care, because a lot of people don't think about it. Like, I patched him up, he's good to go. No, now you have to take care of the wound later on, the next day, the next week, the next month, however long things last, right? Wound care, like gauze, ointment, sutures, these things are going to counter infections, from the mud and the debris, mental health, let me stop on that real quick, because it's time to pay the bills, guys. I just read another story. I think maybe I'll share it with you tomorrow, that got put out by Refuge Medical, best medical company on the frickin' planet. Not a joke. Use code LocalPrepper to save 15% on all of your purchases. They are the best. Go find a link in the description. I either have a Refuge Medical link, or I have like the link for like the stuff I like link, something like that. Go there, see what they've got. Some of this stuff is very, very inexpensive. So do that. And like I said, LocalPrepper, all one words. There's a link in the description. And there's the actual name. You can copy it, whatever, and that'll save you 15%. So go buy the gauze and the ointments and the sutures and the antiseptics and painkillers. No painkillers, but bandages and tourniquets and stuff like that. All right, so mental health leans on the small rituals like storytelling, games. Maybe it's a radio check-in, and this is going to kind of fend off despair, because when you're left alone with your thoughts too long, if you're not used to doing that, you could go a little nutso crazy wacko. All right. The community ties demand effort. You can't just assume that it's going to happen. Drills, resource sharing, check-ins, these are going to forge bonds that, as seen post-Helene, are often going to beat the government response. The disaster reframes survival as enduring in place, not fleeing, with adaptability, skills, improvisation, alliances. These are keys in stretching months, kind of prompting thoughts on gaps like bikes or wood stoves for an evolving prep. There's a lot of stuff to think about. There's a lot of stuff to unpack when you think about the stuff that the people that in Western North Carolina and Eastern Tennessee have been through. And let's not forget the fact that they lived through a winter, because it's still cold up there, but it's not like winter cold. You know what I'm saying? They lived through a winter in their freaking tents, so they couldn't be pushed off their lands, and praise on them, Rose says, need to be diligent, observe, and keep word out if things go south like scouts be prepared. There you go. And I've got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left. So Vegan Cookie says, how much medical kit does one need? Are you planning to get hurt? A lot? I feel like basic bandages and duct tape and clean wipes cover a lot if you're planning to stay out of trouble. Well, that's just it, Vegan. You can plan to stay out of trouble all day long until someone hits your car and the door crumples and slices your leg open, requiring a very large bandage that you don't have, let alone a tourniquet that you may not have. You know what I'm saying? And then there's always the aftercare. And what we're talking about is we're talking about the people that were stuck up there that needed medical services or actually had wounds that they couldn't properly treat and then maintain care. There's a certain level of care that's necessary to not get all infected or dirty or whatever it may be. You know what I'm saying? Nobody expects for the tip of their finger to be cut off when they're in middle school, but it happens. It happens, guys. Let me get you see the line. Can you see the line? It's right there. It's on the tip of the No one expects that to happen, but things happen, and that's why you need a robust medical kit. You don't got to go crazy. We're not talking about freaking putting needles in people's chests. That's not what we're talking about, because emergency medicine is actually very easy to prepare for and very easy to do. You just have to know how to do it. That's all, you know. Let's see here. Now they have to deal with the fires. I know. Hey, Gregory, good to see you, man. Good to see you. Gregory was one of our last winners. He was our last non-member winner. All right, guys, I've got 30 seconds to go right here. If you want to get in on the membership stuff, there's a link in the description. Go down there and become a member. Pick the doomsday level. Otherwise, you don't get squat but emojis. Yeah, that's going to be about it until tomorrow or the next video anyway. So, gotta go. Stay safe. Have a great day, and I shall see you when I see you. And here, the alarm's going to go off. Here it goes. Oh, my God. Have a great day.